What's happening, my fellow cat visionaries, and welcome back to CatVision. I think it was Sigman Freud who once said that time spent with cats is never wasted. And I think that's a true statement. I try to spend as much time as I can each day with my cats, whether it's playing with them or just having a little cat nap on the couch with them. The other day, in fact, for the first time, I was able to coax Clarice underneath my blanket, and she laid there for like an hour or so, and it was the greatest thing. She was just purring on my chest, and she was hiding under my blanket, and every now and again I would just like scratch her little belly, and I ended up falling asleep, having a little cat nap with her there, and that was just the greatest thing. I'll never, ever, ever forget that moment. I hope it happens again, but if it doesn't, I always have the memory, and no matter what else happens in my life, it's something I'll always think about. It was just a simple, joyful experience. And I think that's the essence of what being a cat friend is all about. There's just a simplicity to it. So much of our lives is either overly complex by design or just the simple nature of the human mind. We make it more complex than it may need to be. But there's really no thought process involved or necessary for being friends with a cat. You just sort of let it happen and just see where it takes you. And it's a magical journey. For example, each morning when I wake up, Clarice and I go through this little ritual that involves her biting my toes and then rolling around on the floor and exposing her belly to me, which of course I scratch as much as I can, because what in the world is cuter than cat belly, right? But then I pick her up and I scratch her behind the neck, and I scratch up and down her spine. And Clarice is not a cat who really loves to be held, but me picking her up in the morning, she starts purring, and I know it's just the greatest. That particular instance of me holding her is like the greatest thing in the world to her, because a new day has dawned and she and I are once again together, and that just seems to make her so happy, and that's a mutual feeling. Every morning when I wake up and I see Clarice and Goggles both, I'm just so grateful that they're still in my lives. They're still here. They're still part of my world. They're still making my world better just through the simple act of being themselves, just through the simple act of being cats, just being who and what they are. But I'm curious to hear what you have to say on the subject. So please drop me a comment down below and tell me about some of your favorite cat memories and some of your simple cat joys, because I'd love to hear about them. Also, don't forget to like the video if you liked it, share it around with your friends, subscribe to the channel. It's a huge help. As always, Goggles, Clarice, and I, we really appreciate you watching, and we can't wait to see you next time on CatVision.